Hello there, online class of summer 2015. I hope this finds you all well and happy post 4th of July and rested, and we are getting close to the end of our semester. So, a couple things. First, I sent you guys an email yesterday, I think it was yesterday, letting you know about my access to my TCC accounts. I was disconnected from email and Blackboard prematurely. I am leaving the college. My husband got a job in the Boston area last year, and we're moving to Massachusetts. I'm actually in Massachusetts right now, handling some moving stuff. But anyway, the college, someone pushed a button in the computer and it set off a chain of events, and the next thing I know, I can't get to my email and I can't get to Blackboard, and that happened the day before the holiday weekend. So that's why you didn't see any, some of you saw grades from last week because I graded about half the class, and some of you didn't see any. But now everything that could have been graded has been graded. Everything is caught up and everything should be correct. So the purpose of this video is to share 3 pieces of information with you. And the first one is to please go into Blackboard and check your grades. And what you need to look for are places where there's either a blank spot or a 0. The zeros have been inputted for anything that I did not have a grade for, meaning I didn't receive any work. So there's 3 different kinds of assignments you've had in this class on a weekly basis. One was a discussion board, the other was a quiz, and the third was a homework assignment where you had to download some sort of document with instructions and complete the activity and then upload it. So by now you should be familiar with that format. And you didn't have discussion boards and homeworks every week, but most weeks you did. But some weeks you would have had just a discussion board and a quiz, or just a homework and a quiz, but you had at least one quiz every week. So the first thing I wanted to tell you is to please go into Blackboard and take a look at your grades and make sure that you have an understanding of what you've turned in and what you haven't. And the second piece of this is to go ahead and look at your zeros. And if you see any zeros for homework assignments that you've completed, which are the things that you downloaded instructions, typed up a response, so for example, the test-taking activity or the note-taking activity, anything like that, and you've got a 0 for one of those, but you've done it and it's saved on your computer, you can go ahead and send me that and I will give you a grade for it. So that is my second point I wanted to make and offer an invitation to you. That's true for any of the homework assignments. Discussion boards and quizzes are not available for makeup, so those are just closed and done. And the same thing, of course, with the midterm exam. So that kind of cleans up the gradebook, and if you go in right now, you'll see next to your name a total point value. And this is my third point that I want to make today, and this is the reason I'm doing this video. At this point in the semester, really all along, but as we approach the final exam, it's really important that you start to think about this as a point game. And this is true for not just my class, but for all your classes. So I strongly encourage you, if you have not already, to sit down and look very carefully at your grades, pick them apart, look at what you've turned in and what you haven't, what you've got points for and what you haven't gotten points for, and see where you stand. So in our class, we use a 1,000-point scale. What I love about a straight-up 1,000-point scale is 2 things. First, it makes every homework assignment feel like it's a lot because it's a nice big number of points. And second, it's really easy to figure out where your grade is. So if you have 900 points or above, you're in an A zone. If you've got 800 to 899, you're in a B zone, and on like that. So what you need to do is think about both where you are now and where you want to be after that final. That final exam in this class is worth 250 points. 1,000 minus 250 is 750. So the most that you could have earned by the time you turn in your homework this coming Sunday is 750 points. So after I grade homework on Monday, you guys will turn in your last week's work. You've got a quiz, a discussion board, and a homework assignment. After you turn those in, you're looking for a number that is 750 or less. And that's the number that's going to be your current grade. So let's say that Sunday you turn in your homework. Monday, which coming up will be July 13th, I go in and I grade your homework, and then you start to see, okay, I've gotten everything graded, everything's been turned in, and I have 640 points. So you're going to pick up your handy dandy calculator, and I should have had my calculator open before I did this video. So you would do 640 divided by 750 because that's the total you could have earned, and that's an 85% or a B. So that's one way to kind of look at your grade, is to do where am I now. And then another thing to think about is where am I now, but in terms of the final. So okay, great, I've got 640 points. Let's say I don't take that final. What happens? Well, if you don't take the final and you've currently got 640 points, you're not going to lose any points. You'll just stay at the 640, and your final grade would be 640 out of 1,000, which is in the D range. So as you start to look at your grades, for those of you who already have 700 points or above, you've got a C right now. You could take the final and you could skip the final and still end up with a C. I do not recommend you do that. If you are already in the C range, that means you have been turning in your work consistently and you're really in the A range, right? Because 700 divided by 750 would be an A. And chances are really good that you're going to keep that high grade after the final exam. So what I want you to start thinking about is, what's your goal for yourself? What do you want to make on this final? And this can be a really gratifying activity for some of you, and for others it's going to be really frustrating. I have students, I had one this summer in my face-to-face A-term course who skipped all kinds of classes, and I would email him and say, are you coming, or are you coming back to class? Do you want me to drop you? I'm worried about your GPA. And he said, oh no, I'm going to come. And he showed up for a week before the last day to withdraw, and then after that last day to withdraw, which was June 4th, he didn't show up again until the final exam day. And I will tell you that that student turned in no work at all. That's not true. He did a few things, and he had about 500 points total. I'm sorry, I'm spacing all over. He had something like 300 points. So even if he'd gotten a perfect score on the final and gotten a 550 point total, that still would have been an F in the class. Do you follow me? So it's important that you know where you are and where you're trying to get to. If you have done no work all semester, then odds are good you're probably not watching my video anyway. But in the off chance that you are, let's say that currently you have 300 points, 400 points, 200 points sitting in Blackboard, and you haven't done a lot of your homework, and you study your tail off, and you come in and you ace the final exam. Great job, and I will happily applaud you, but it is still just a straight up point game. So if you have 300 points now, you take your final and you get 550, that's still an F. So be thinking about that. And then for those of you, and really it's most of you in this class, you guys have been a great class. You guys have done awesome for the most part. For most of you, it's going to be a matter of, okay, I've got 600 points now, and I'd really like to end up with a B in the class, so I need to get at least 200 on the final. Or you might be a little bit more borderline, where maybe you've got, 760 points, and you would like, maybe you've got more like 700 points, and you need to get 200 points to hit your A zone. But if you don't get 200 points, then you'll still be in a B range. See what I mean? It's a game. It's a game, and you just need to figure out, where do I need to be in the game? The other thing that's important about this is, if you've been rocking it all semester and you're cranking high at something like 740 points, and you're 10 points off from where you had to be, you only need to earn 160 points on the final to get an A in the class. So if you've got another class that you really need to study very, very hard for your final, that can be a tool that kind of helps you divide and conquer, so to speak. So just be thinking about that. What's my grade goal for this class? Can I achieve my grade goal? And what's it going to take to get there? Do I need to get 230 out of 250 points? And if that's the case, watch the videos over and over and practice writing out the questions. All right, I think that's it. So the 3 points were: check your grades in Blackboard, an invitation to turn in any late homework assignments only, discussion boards and quizzes are closed, and just a little talk on, please make sure that you know that it's a point game, that you know how many points you've got and how many points you need to get the grades you want. All right, the final exam is available starting on Saturday, July 11th, and I believe the last day is July 20th that it closes, which is Saturday, July 11th, a full week and then into the Monday or Tuesday of the week after. It would be Monday, July 20th, because grades will be due on the 21st. So when that happens, that Saturday, July 11th, is really important for anyone who needs to take the exam Saturday at the TCC Testing Center. They are only open the second Saturday of the month for Saturdays. For Saturday hours, they do the second Saturday of the month, and they do it from 9 to 12. So if you want to take it, you have got to be there no later than 11 a.m. on Saturday, because they usually don't even let you take the test if you show up with less than an hour before their closing time. And this is important too, because I've had students go before during the week when they close at 5 and they show up at 3:45 and they're already closed. I'm not saying I think it's right or wrong, but if there's nobody there, then they sometimes just shut their doors. So if you're going to go later in the day during the week, you might want to go ahead and schedule an appointment so that they know you're coming. Alrighty, good luck on your final. Email me any questions that you have, and I will be in touch via email later in the week, or I guess at the beginning of next week. Take care. Bye.